All right. This is one shot revolver with that's how we roll, or rather that's how we roll with one shot revolver. I'm totally on the ball tonight. I would like to start tonight by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and the Noongar people, traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Now, tonight we are doing a one-shot of 9 Lives to Valhalla. We're playing through The Wreck of the Murderous, which is a scenario made for the game. This is a super cool little indie game that I found on itch.io, and I've been wanting to try it for ages. So I'm excited to run it, but bear with me because I've never run the system before.
Well, we're excited because I've never played the system, so we're doing fine.
So before I get you to introduce your characters, I'm going to read out an introduction to the system itself so that everyone knows the tone that we're coming up with. And then if anyone has any lines that they don't want crossed in the game, because this is Viking murder cats, just like call them out or put them in the chat if you don't want to say them out loud, just so that I know to avoid anything in particular that's going to trigger anyone. Cool?
Can do.
So, it has been an age since the last of man drew breath. Now only stone and steel monuments remain, half buried and twisted. The land is broken, the seas are cold, and the nights are dark. Strange and vicious creatures roam the earth. Dogs still hold the love of the leash in their hearts, and would use their strange magics to rebuild the world in man's long-dead tyranny. Glorious death and outrageous fortune await those who would stop them. That's you guys.
Oh,
The blood of ancient warriors flows in your veins. Your movements are precise and silent. You walk in darkness, seeing and unseen. Fang and claw, blade and bow, might and magics will fell your foes like wheat under a scythe. You are a cat, sworn enemy of man and dog. Your only comrades are your fellow hunters and death itself. A seat among the world's mightiest warriors is kept for you in the drinking halls of Valhalla, headed by the Panthera Pantheon, the gods of the cats. Guided personally by death, that's me. Your merry band will leave a wake of ruin, ending only at the hands of a truly worthy foe. Now, in this game, death is personified. Death walks with you on your path through the broken and twisted earth. Sometimes corporeal, sometimes not, sometimes in the form of weird cryptic ravens, sometimes not. And if at any time one of you wants to, you can turn your claws on death itself, which means you attack me, and if you win, you get to be the GM.
oh, all right.
At
Let's run
which
this shit show
point,
to the ground.
at which point, I'll hand over the scenario to you, and you can do your best to carry it on. So, just in case, I do have a character of my own in the background, correct? But if you don't feel the need to turn your claws on death, don't feel that you have to. Now, would you like to introduce your cats? Just a quick introduction. Introduce your cat, describe the moment that death found them, and in silence called them to certain victory, the life you left behind, the grievous dishonor that is your hated nemesis, something about your background. If you want to say what you look like, tell us what you look like. If you don't care because you're a cat and who cares what you look like, that's cool too. You've also each had 2 glorious deaths. So I want some brief detail about your glorious deaths and your nemesis. No, you cannot have all cucumbers as your nemesis. If you really want to have a specific cucumber as your nemesis, you can. So let's start with Lucky. You're in the middle. You go first.
Then I'll chime in with my wee birdie. My character's name is Mr. Business. He's a white and grey tabby, and he shall fight with all brutality and viciousness that has been sworn upon him by the great gods. As for everything else, all right, his hated nemesis is Steve. He knows what he did. And in his previous deaths, he fought a rabid goat and the rights to fight a nice, warm, heating rock to lie in the sun. And it was a tie, but they both died. And the second time was he was trying to prove his worth and say, I can withstand the power of my own sword, and stabbed himself, in which case ending in death. But he proved himself how powerful he was.
Glorious,
Even he
glorious
could
death.
heal him. I think that's it.
Cool. Connor, do you want to jump in next? Which of those two characters were you playing? You sent two through.
I wasn't sure that I think the second one was a bit more of a joke, based on the stories. But I'll be playing Melon. He's orange, and the best way to describe him is he's an orange cat. Um,
No soul,
he
clearly.
no soul at all. Um, Stolen most likely by death. Um, Melon is a big bulky cat. Um, and fights with Fang and Claw. He also his glorious deaths was one time he was fighting a Great Dane on top of a hill. It was very picturesque and perfect. But uh, Melon, being an orange cat, uh, tripped over his own tail, and fell off the cliff, but managed to take Socks with him.
Glorious, truly glorious.
And the second death, he was, immolated while rescuing some kittens from from a burning den. But
Selfless
when
and glorious.
selfless and glorious, and was gifted with a blessing. So when he gets really angry, he can breathe flame as a reward for rescuing those kittens. Um, but one thing, seems to stalk him through through both of the deaths, and it was um, small Japanese cucumber.
The vile, vile menace.
Kept sneaking up behind him.
Every
Absolutely. I mean,
time, every time.
that's why he tripped over his tail. He looked behind him. The cucumber was there. And he jumped in the air, landed awkwardly on his tail, fell over.
Slain by your nemesis.
Absolutely. And then going through the den to get the kittens. And there it was, right behind the next doorway. Jumped back in fright and was crushed under a falling sort of flaming hot beam.
Terrible.
We've
All
all been
right.
there.
B, introduce us.
So I am quite a posh cat. I am proud and haughty. I come from a long matrilineal line of ancient warriors, and I've got to prove myself. My every firstborn child of this line is named after the first great warrior, and so my name is Big Boy the 23rd. The
Are the
origins of the
rumors
name
true?
the origins of the name are lost to us, but we know that it is a proud and serious name. I have my enemy is Mackenzie, who is a Scottish Terrier, and he's a bit of an idiot. My previous deaths, I don't like to dwell on them because they are of the past, and we focus forward as warrior cats. But they were, I drowned, I woke up underwater. We think it was sabotage. I haven't investigated further, but I'm sure it was down to Mackenzie. And the other incident, I froze to death after losing my fur after the cream incident.
Hate it when that happens.
We don't speak of the cream incident. No, never.
I'm really impressed with Connor's roleplay. He's really getting into it.
Yes. Although not an orange cat.
Well, his costume needs work, but the roleplay is on point.
The facing away from the camera, especially.
We've insulted him. Great.
Yep. All right. So, Death has journeyed across the land, beckoning cats to join a warband of mysterious purpose and certain glory. Leaving your pasts behind you, you climb aboard the black longship Murderous. Her sails whip in the wind and oars chop through leaden seas as your cloaked and silent navigator, that's me again, drives you to the heart of a terrible storm. Glimpses of a speck of land, visible only in flashes of lightning through the driving rain, offer some clue to your fate as your merry crew whoops and sings and howls the old rowing songs directly into the tempest. You do not end up cast in a watery grave, somewhat to your surprise. Instead, your warband awakens on a strange island after the storm has passed. You're half drowned, covered in sand, surrounded by jetsam, flotsam, bits of driftwood, seaweed. Death waits patiently for you to awaken, pointing to the north. And imagine Death, in this instance, as kind of a scarecrow wearing a semi-corporeal black cloak and vaguely spider-shaped, just for this moment. A nameless raven perches on Death's shoulder and speaks in laughing riddles of the folly of immortality. You are here, they tell you, to kill what refuses to die. As you stand on the sand, and it's black sand on this island, you can hear the cawing and calling of inquisitive, opportunistic seagull folk. You can see seaweed and the black sand itself and the Plutonian waves pounding against the shore. You can smell mostly dead fish and salt, and you can taste mostly salt and sand in your mouth as you wake up. Your vessel, what is left of it, has run aground on a nearby cove along the black sand. To the northwest is a ruined city, overrun with foliage among crumbled roads. To the northeast, a marble obelisk looms over a high cliff. What would you like to do?
I think Mr. Business will draw his swords and tie one of them to his tail and look towards the raven. Need we head toward the obelisk? Would your quarry reside within its walls?
All paths lead to glory and to death, says the raven.
Right you are, bird. And then I leap up and try and pounce at it.
It flaps easily out of your reach as you are dragged back towards the sand by the sword strapped to your tail.
Oh, I should have thought about that. What say you, Melon? Are you ready to fight for your life against the obelisk and the undead dying?
Alan is obsessively grooming himself at this point and looks up with confusion and like his tongue half hanging out of him.
Oh no, I first blep.
What?
Right. Big boy, the 23rd, what say you? Shall you fight by my side against that cannot die?
Big boy looks you up and down and looks at the sword strapped to your tail and says, "Whatever you think, I think I might do the opposite."
Right. So he picks up his other sword, shoves it in his mouth, and then starts running on all fours directly towards the obelisk. Come on! Dragging this tail behind. Clink, 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 clink.
Big boy shakes her head and goes after him.
Melon, there's some kind of movement in the sand underneath you. You're not certain that this is a safe place for a bath.
Melon sort of jumps at least 2.5 meters in the air, startled, all bristled up as much as the wet fur will allow, and will sort of like chase or all four paws along sort of behind Mr. Business and Big Boy. But at this point, eyes like saucers and sort of running, running 100 meters, stopping, looking around, and then running again in a slightly different sort of like zigzag direction.
So you're all heading up towards the marble obelisk, more or less?
That sounds right.
With reluctance, yeah.
Okay. A crumbling cliffside switchback trail is pockmarked with graves that jut from the rock. A lizard, clad in leather and steel, watches your approach, still as a gargoyle. There are many derelict graves spilling over the black rock precipice that looms above the black sand beach. Set a little bit back from the edge of the cliff, there is a marble obelisk standing guard over a partially unearthed human skeleton, the bones gigantic in proportion. You can see all of these tombstones along the cliffside at odd angles, marking bodies interred in the rock and emptied graves. The wind whistles through the mausoleums, and there is a certain kind of rhythmic tapping noise, which seems to be bones hitting each other in the wind. You can smell the faint scent of overgrown wild roses from the edges of what appears to be a graveyard up here. The opposite edge from the cliff edge, obviously. And looking north from the top of the cliff, you can see a lush valley beyond the graves of the necropolis, with a huge sword, or statue of a sword, perhaps, rising from the midst of the jungle foliage. North, beyond the giant sword and the valley, there's a ziggurat, which kind of slowly emerges from the mist. All of the valley here is surprisingly tropical, given that the coastline is very bleak and windswept. It's like as soon as you go inland, it's jungle and fog and green things. Right where you are, there is the lizard, who's still standing there watching you, unnaturally still, sitting on a grave about halfway to the top of the trail. Do you stop to chat? Do you go on past?
I think as I'm running up as quickly as I can, planking behind the sword, I approach the lizard to look at him. Be you the creature that we were sent here to kill by death himself?
Greetings, mighty warrior. No, I am not. I was not. No one has sent you to kill me, I believe. I am Baxter. I'm a mercenary. Are you interested in acquiring the services of a mercenary?
I am not. I need no help. Look at this. And he takes the sword and smashes the skull of one of the human bodies there. Just lying, the skeleton just shatters it. That's what I'll do. Spits out the sword again.
All right, then. I mean, certainly, you appear to be sworded up. No cell swords required. I suppose I will wait for the next passers-by and see if they are more interested. Are any of your companions interested in a mercenary?
I doubt it. Someone named after being stabbed in the back. No one wants that.
You do know that's not what Baxter means.
I don't understand. That sounds like your name. I shall continue on, backstab. I don't want you stabbing me in the back. And he just bounces and then kind of walks backwards, creeping away, not losing eye contact with his shining armor.
Excellent, excellent. Good to meet you, mighty warrior. How about the other two of you? Are you, oh, one of you's orange. Well, all right then. The lizard backs up a step.
He comes back. Sorry, forgot my sword. Ha! Backs away again.
I haven't thought about how I'm carrying my weapons, to be completely honest.
Don't think about it too
No,
clearly.
I'm not going to. I'm going to pull them out of somewhere.
Yeah.
I sort of delicately walk up to the lizard and ask, so do you get many passers-by wanting a mercenary?
Haven't so far, no. You could be the first, madame. Do you need the services of a mercenary? Or some poison? I have some poison to trade if you happen to have a bag of gold on you at all.
I'm rather running short on gold, I'm afraid.
Hmm.
What has made you position yourself here?
Well, it seemed like the safest midway point between the bay and the city, given the Coyote Queen, who's, I mean, she doesn't need mercenaries, let's say. Seemed like not the place for me, but I wouldn't want to be too far away just because that's the largest local landmark, really, other than the obelisk right here. But necropolis, it's mostly ghosts and dead people. So yeah, yeah. No gold, you say. That's sad. I mean, do you have anything else that's valuable? The poison's not very useful to me at the moment. Could be useful to you. Depends what you're going to do. What are
Meanwhile,
you going to
Melon's
do?
sort of like next to Big Boy, just like slowly reaching out, like almost touching the lizard. On
Every time you do that, the lizard kind of slides away under your paw and gently pushes your paw away and pretends not to have noticed.
I'm rather bereft of valuable objects. I don't entirely know where I'd keep them. I sort of looked at him, not thinking too hard about it. But I'll keep your services in mind, sir.
All right then. I will maybe the seagulls. The seagulls usually have something valuable. They find all the wrecks, gather things from the yes. Anyway. Well, good to meet you all. You take your orange friend with you.
May I ask you a question before we go?
Yes, absolutely.
You seen any cucumbers?
No, I've not seen any cucumbers, but I will watch out for them for you if
Must
you
watch out. It's dangerous around here. They could come out of anywhere.
I shan't go alone then.
Good, good. And Melon will trot off proudly with tail in the air after Mr. Business, leaving Big Boy behind.
So what's your plan now? Are you gonna investigate the necropolis, or are you gonna carry on into the valley, or are you going to head for the ruined city that you can still see to your the
Well, so is the ziggurat is the city you're referring to, or is that something else again?
And what's the giant sword that's in the valley?
yeah. So the from the beach you could see a ruined city to the northwest and the obelisk to the northeast. So you went up to the obelisk.
Yep.
So west of where you are, you can see the ruined city. And the obelisk sits in the middle of the necropolis. So from the necropolis, you can see north, there's a valley with a colossal sword rising from the tangles of jungle in the valley. And then past the valley, there's a ziggurat in the mist. And those are to the north of where you are.
Yeah, so I think Mr. Business will be heading straight towards the sword with the intention of eventually reaching the ziggurat.
If we go towards the sword, can we? I'm just laughing at Dan. If we go towards the sword, can we Are we traveling through the necropolis at all?
You will travel through the necropolis to get to the valley, which is where the sword is, yes. Because at the
Okay.
moment, talking to the lizard, you're kind of 2/3 of the way up the trail that goes up the cliff to the obelisk, through the necropolis, and then across and down to the valley on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I would be going to the sword as well, but I would be, having been reminded about my shortcomings in the gold department, I would be looking around to see if there's anything that looks like it could be of interest or value on the way.
Okay, well, if you want to have a look around the necropolis, you could, hmm, let's
Sort
see
of
what you
look in a
find.
straight line. I'm not going to deviate too far.
Melon will deviate. Melon will go investigate every bug that is seen.
All right, let's see what Melon finds. So Melon and Big Boy the 23rd both actually discover at the same time that there is a silver bowl sitting just behind the headstone of one of the graves. Now, it's in direct line of sight from where you're standing, but to get to it, you'd have to go into the graveyard to go
Oh,
in.
absolutely, straight there. You
All
don't have
right.
to describe anything else.
Melon wanders into the graveyard. There's a silver bowl you can pick up if you'd like.
Yeah, this seems useful. Especially if there's seagulls around.
There are seagulls. As you glance back down the trail, you can see the wreck of your ship, the Murderous, lying there on the black sand, and the seagulls are descending on it and investigating to see if there's anything valuable left on the ship. They're screaming and cawing, and they seem to be pretty happy with what they're finding, so maybe there is.
Wood
Uh,
chips. Girls love chips.
Very good.
Can I have a look around the graveyard that the silver bowl was in?
I
Yeah,
found this bowl.
it's a very pretty silver bowl. You look around the graveyard. Let's see. Uh, you actually discover a mournful ghost who's just kind of sitting there against one of the headstones, pulling the petals slowly off a ghost flower and humming something sad and not at all glorious. This is not a cat ghost, by the way. It's probably some kind of squirrel or raccoon. You're not sure. It's a furry thing. It's not a dog, but it's definitely not a cat. And it is mournful. It's interested in what you might what you might have to tell it about the outside world, rumors, or some catnip if you happen to have catnip. Catnip does help the time pass.
Crunching it up, just meow.
Now, you do all know that ghosts have a thing called a spirit lantern, which you can trade for. And let's open up the main rules so I can get you the description of the stuff. So,
The important thing is, can Melon catch the petals falling off this flower?
The ghost petals.
no, but you can try. And each one, you
Yes.
think for a moment that you've caught it as you get that little spot of cold on your paw, and then it's not there. It's both frustrating and kind of satisfying in a weird way.
Well, I got the petals so hard they stopped existing.
You did. You did.
Big Boy looks at Melon and is quite jealous, but doesn't want to stoop to that level.
You hear in the background, there's just Mr. Business yelling out, Fight me, vile creature! Calling into the valley as he approaches the sword.
Well, the thing that you are shouting at, in fact, appears to be a band of animated corpses. They are magic foes with eyes glowing radioactive green.
Okay.
Let's cut back to the bowl. Let's just see what happens.
And the other two of you just hear off in the distance Mr. Business yelling, "Fight me!" And you don't hear the undead because they don't make any noises. But currently they're just sitting amongst the graves right in the middle of the path. And they're looking increasingly like they will, in fact, get up and fight you.
And Melon collects the petals in the bowl.
Melon can definitely try, but the petals are, in fact, incorporeal, being ghost flower petals. However, you could try to get the ghost's spirit lantern, which a spirit lantern carries the spirit of whomever gives you the lantern. And when you break it, a spirit lantern doesn't look like a regular lantern. It looks more like a kind of a pretty bubble. When it's broken, the spirit escapes and attempts to fell a single foe. If whoever gave you the lantern perishes in the meantime, then the lantern's no good. But ghosts can actually give you a spirit lantern, which is the ghost itself in a bubble. And it basically means that the ghost will come with you and try to kill somebody for you if you break the bubble.
So it's like an orb of summoning.
Kind of, yeah.
Break the orb, it brings you to their location. We can do that.
Yeah.
Does the ghost not want to leave the location generally? Like, isn't there an incentive there?
Well, I mean, the ghost is currently stuck in the graveyard. So the ghost would really like some gossip about the world outside the graveyard. And if you're prepared to take the ghost with you to see some of the world, then the ghost would probably be up for that. You could always ask. At the moment, the ghost's like, "Do you have any catnip?" Just one hit, man. Well, it's been a while.
You're holding out on me.
It's a habit I wouldn't usually partake in. But I look at Melon.
I look back.
Still got a black.
Mid catch of the pedal, like.
Yep.
No catnip, but is there anything else that you might like?
I have catnip.
Oh, okay.
You could tell me about the world that you've come from. What goes on outside this necropolis?
There's a crashed ship. How long would you say you've been in this world?
I've been here forever. Probably. Maybe. The days pass so quickly, and yet they last forever. I feel like something is holding me here, but I don't know what it might be. Is it you? Are you my unfinished business? You could be.
The squirrel, you said?
It does look like a squirrel. As it focuses on you, it becomes more, well, it becomes easier to see. Not really more corporeal, but it's like its edges are glowing a bit brighter and you can see more clearly what it is. And it looks less melancholy and more slightly rabid. Meanwhile,
My
Mr.
family
Business,
Yep. What's happening?
you've got a group of undead.
Excellent. I think he goes into full brutality mode. I shall fight any human undead that stands before me. And he'll go into his cat-like rage, and as if they were pointed with a laser pointer, he attacks their face.
Well, these are magic foes. What are you attacking with?
My tail sword and my mouth sword. So that's all he knows.
So your tail sword and your mouth sword, that's your dual weapons, yes?
Yes, correct.
And dual weapons are brutality and viciousness?
Correct.
All right. So I get to roll an extra d6 because against magic foes, You must use ferocity, or death gets an extra d6.
Ooh. Well, that's something. I think because I'm dual wielding, I get to roll an extra d6.
It will
Correct.
tell you on your weapon. I don't think you do.
No, it's my blessing of leg and fang, maybe? Increase your brutality size? No, not that one. Twin snakes. That might be it.
That gives you your dual
Gain a
wielding.
dual weapons and mastery of them. If you already have them, dual weapons roll an additional d6 when you use them.
Well then, roll an
Yeah.
additional d6 as well as your, what's it, d12 and d8 for your brutality and
You ready for
viciousness.
this?
I'm so ready.
Ooh.
There are 4 of these unquiet dead, mind you.
I'll also let you know that I have the blessing of Freya's chariot, and when I roll a 6 on any dice, I get to roll an additional 6, and I rolled a 6 on my d6. So I'm pretty great now.
Nice.
Right?
So is that you roll an extra d6 or you give one to your companions?
Uh, uh, Anytime a tile roll shows 6 with a roll in brutality, an additional die of that size is added to your results.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
2 extra d6. You
Sounds
are
about
indeed a
right.
mighty warrior
Indeed, I
with your
am.
tail sword.
There's so many people who can try to tie a tail to their sword. Wait, other way
An
around.
extra d6 or is that an extra d12?
Ooh, well, that is a good
Because
question.
he rolled a 6 on his brutality dice, which is a d12.
Well, no,
Mhm.
I rolled a 6 on my additional dice
Okay.
that I get for being brutal, so I assume
Yep.
that carries.
Yep.
Good. In that case, I rolled a 16.
No, you just take your highest number, you don't add them up.
Well, that's just sad.
It is, isn't it?
Then
What was the point
what's
of
the
the
point in
rolls?
rolling extra 6?
Because you might get a higher number.
But I could also roll a lower number.
You could.
In that case, my highest is a 6.
That's still higher than my highest. You kill one of the unquiet dead. You slay it.
Joe!
Hurrah! There's still 3 of them, though.
Good,
Wait, yeah.
good.
You can definitely hear the sounds of battle.
I
Do you-
wheel about
you-
and start heading towards it.
All right, they're only like a jump and a pounce away from you. They're literally on the same path on the other side of the graveyard.
Oh,
You can
okay.
get there straight away.
All right.
It's not subtle. Glorious, yes. Subtle, no.
Subtle, I don't know the meaning of the word.
As Big Boy runs off, Alan will sort of like look around surprised, crinkle his nose, leave the catnip, and then run off as well.
All right. If you leave catnip for the ghost, the ghost will in fact give you where are we? Melancholy ghost. The melancholy ghost presses into your paw just before you leave a dragon blood crystal. So this is a red crystal made of crystallized dragon's blood. You eat it to improve your brutality by 1 die size for 1 roll.
If it's already max dice size, so I go after a d20.
You do not, but you can always trade the dragon blood crystal to somebody else. If you want to roll it yourself, I'll say that if you're already on a d12, it'll give you an extra d6 to roll.
Melon will run off like, nice meeting you.
All right.
Be back soon.
Big
And
boy.
then running up, I want to jump over like the nearest sort of like grave or like mausoleum, something like that, to jump into the fight from above.
Okay, absolutely. Big boy, you were diving into the fight?
I was. I pull an axe from the shadows of my fur somewhere, and
Don't think about it too hard.
Yes. And I go at the nearest. I try and strike down at the nearest foe. So I'm rolling Brutality and ferocity.
Okay. So this is against unquiet dead, which are magic foes, which means against them you need ferocity, which means I do not roll my extra d6.
Yep. And I also roll an additional d6 against magic foes because I've got the blessing of Witch's Sight.
Nice.
Hang on. D10 was brutality, ferocity, yeah. That's a fuck, yes. 7 and 8, and then I don't know what so that the additional d6 against magic foes, that's a separate d6 entirely.
Okay. I mean, you've already got an 8 as high.
Yeah, I do, but it says roll an additional d6 against magic foes. So am I replacing, that would be a replacement roll then if I were to roll that.
I think the way the game works is that you get an extra d6 to try and chance getting a higher number than
what you got. All right, so there's no point me rolling.
Yeah.
Cool.
You succeed. You swipe with your axe and take out another of the unquiet dead.
Beautiful.
It falls down, properly dead.
No, you're getting in the spirit, lad.
She looks, haughty over her victory.
And Melon, you were leaping from above, death from above, and you were using Fang and Claw?
Yes, so ferocity and cunning. So
excellent.
I've got my D8, my D4, and then another D6. To jump in and I want to try and flatten 2 of them.
2 of them. All right.
Yeah.
So make your roll. It's a separate roll for each of the unquiet dead.
Okay. I've got an 8 as my highest roll.
Mm-hmm.
For one of them, and then a 6 for my highest roll for another one, but do I land on them and then breathe flame in their face?
Not as part of the same thing, because you were trying to fang and claw them first. So we'd have to do another round for you to flame them, I believe.
It's it's because I've got a 6. And breathe flame on a 6.
When you roll a 6, you roll breathe flame or something?
I know the ruling is I just breathe flame on an object or a person until it is dead. That's what the blessing says. It's pretty good.
I mean, so this is indeed truly glorious, Melon, because the first of the unquiet dead, you land on it, swiping it with a claw, and you got an 8 for the first one.
Yeah.
It got a 6. You slay it. Now the second one is more complex because it got a 7 and you got a 6. So as you land on it, it swipes, and with a lucky blow, it breaks your neck. But as you land on it, having rolled a 6, you breathe fire, burning it until it is ash and dead. And there you lie with your broken neck, slowly expiring, your last breath trembling out of your tiny little kitty lungs. And the Valkyries come with their trumpets and harps and like furry wings, and they gather you up and take you to the gates of Valhalla, where you are given a blessing by, which one is your deity?
Uncia.
Uncia the jaguar blesses you with a blessing that you better choose pretty quickly. And then the Valkyries bring you back to the Black Sand Island and to the glorious absence of your corpse, where your companions aren't actually mourning you because they know that you've still got like 6 lives left. 5 now.
Like Mr. Business took off his hat like, I couldn't have asked for a better death upon the field. We shall mourn him heavily. And then the trumpets start blowing again as his body comes back. Oh, never mind. He puts his hat back on.
Yep.
Ellen jumps in fright at the burning corpse, scared of the fire.
I am somehow reminded of every cat that I've seen doing a poop run ever. It's like, that came out of me? Oh no.
Great.
Right.
Well, welcome back, Melon. Hope that was refreshing.
Adept be honored. I pronounce it with the H.
How'd you do that fire breathing thing?
It was just something I picked up in my after my last visit to Valhalla.
I didn't know we could do that. Did you know we could do that? Looking back at Big Boy the 23rd.
Thank you for including the 23rd in every.
You have to. It's a full title.
It's important.
I wasn't aware, no, though I've heard of similar.
Amazing. What fights we will have upon this land. My blood is boiling. Quick, let us ascend the valley and to fight that sword down there. And he'll scurry off, clanking the tail behind.
Big Boy the 23rd is quite it was really bad at picking up like history and law in school, and is one of the reasons that she hasn't yet proven herself. So yeah, if you ask her anything about history, she's just not with it.
Yeah. So you're all heading down to the valley. You don't want to explore the necropolis any further? Look at the obelisk itself?
No, I want to see that sword.
Sword and valley it is.
What are you doing with your bow? Because I was.
He's tucked it into his satchel, clearly.
Yeah.
Worn it as a helmet was what I was imagining.
The Valkyries took it.
Yeah, slightly.
All right. You head down the trail from the necropolis into the valley, which is lush, full of thorns and flowers, untouched by canine interlopers and their dark work. The sword of some kind of colossus erupts from the heart of the valley, looming over the tangle of trees and vines. There are brightly colored flowers everywhere, disappearing footpaths marked by the talismans of Uncia. You can hear the distant buzzing of flittering hummingbirds and the chaos of life, the chirping of insects. You can smell sweat, blood, living earth, and you can feel the stifling heat of the jungle. There are thorns and prickles pulling at your fur and your armor. Your paws sink into the loam with every step. Climbing up a bramble will give you a bit of a view over the canopy. Otherwise, you can't really see very far ahead of you. So if you want to see which way you're going, or you want to head specifically for the sword or past the sword to the ziggurat, you're going to have to climb up brambles to make sure that you keep going in more or less a straight direction.
What if Melon picks up someone and puts them on shoulders?
Well, I mean, who are you going to pick up and put on your shoulders?
Um,
Don't you dare touch me, you filth.
Mr. Business.
I actively
hoist
fight
him
and
up.
don't want to be picked up. I turn to Ragdoll Cat. Good luck! None can withstand the power of my floppiness.
And
Melon will hold him up while he's ragdolled. Can you see anything?
No, I'm not looking.
so Mr. Business is flopping around like a dead cat with his eyes shut. And Melon is kind of waving him around like some kind of weird wrestling match.
The sword is just flinging around Melon, dangling from his tail.
While that's happening, I think I'm going to daintily attempt to climb up the brambles.
Smart. Let's progress the story.
Well, the brambles do show you that directly to your north there is the sword, and beyond that you can see the tip of the ziggurat emerging from the mist. So all you need to do is pretty much keep going north along these paths, and you will get to the sword very shortly. It's not a very big valley, and cats can be quick when they're not distracted.
We spend another 4 hours flopping around while choosing to look.
All we need to do is stick north.
Where's north?
That way.
Yeah.
I start spinning the compass with my paw.
But you're not looking at it, you're just spinning.
Yeah. All right, put me down, Melon. Big boy has done the work.
I put Mr. Business down into the brambles.
Ah, come on! How long it takes to clean this?
Big Boy the 23rd is slowly sort of picking herself down the brambles and wincing every step.
So
Right.
you dismount from the brambles and melon, respectively, and continue on towards the sword?
Yes, that is our ultimate goal.
All right. As you head that way, you see a small shack in the woods off to one side. And outside the shack is a witch. You know that she is a witch because her fur is as black as midnight and she is wearing a very wide, broad-brimmed witch's hat.
Oh, witch! Kill it! Burn her! Melon, breathe
Don't
fire!
kill the witch.
She flops
Grab
up
Mr.
to like
Business's
3 times
tail.
her size and hisses at you.
Bite the tail as Mr. Business tries to go.
Don't you know witches have something to teach us?
Name one witch that has ever taught you anything, Mr. Boy.
Maybelline.
Oh, no, that's that's one incident.
Do you require absolution, travelers? The absolution of Uncia?
The only
no,
absolution.
I have already been blessed by a witch on my first glorious death.
Mm.
I
What
was
is your
blessed
name?
by none.
I am a melon.
And if none has blessed you, then need you be blessed?
I
By
need not be
some.
blessed by anyone but those who fight with sword.
Mm. If you have no need for absolution, I will offer you poison, for the Panthera have no use for those who are pure of heart. Only those who are vicious and vile in their pursuit of the canine are worthy of absolution.
I mean, if you put it that way, I'm pretty vicious. Just saying.
What vicious thing have you done recently?
I
That
mean, there was
needs
a
to be-
skeleton back there with like a human skull. I shattered it with my sword. I put it in my mouth. It's pretty good.
That is
Seen
pretty
it.
gross. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Did you leave your scent on it or just like lick it a bit?
I haven't stopped pissing since I walked onto this island.
Yes, now that the wind changes, I can smell that.
As you can see, my hat has this little can in it that I constantly drink to keep the fluid flowing. You gotta keep hydrated. We don't sweat that much, you know? Can't sweat.
Big Boy the 23rd is backing away,
Don't
realizing
stand there, that's wet.
a stream of piss going round down your leg the whole time and not just immediately.
Well,
And
if you're
you-
putting it that way, then I require the absolution to take on any man or canine before me.
And what of Kanzor the Grand, the Crocodile Lord, sustained through the devotion of his hummingbird choir? Can you take him on?
I can take on anything that isn't me. I am too powerful that I can kill myself and only me.
If you bring me the blood of Kanzor the Grand, I shall make you a dragon blood crystal to aid you in your quest.
Just point me in his direction and I shall slaughter anyone before me.
Very
I have
well.
one of those.
You do?
Holds up the crystal.
Oh, it looks like we already have one. Thanks for your time, witch.
It's very nice. Do you each have one?
Well, I was told that it can only give you a D12 as a max, and I already have a D12 as well. So
Why do you speak in riddles, sir? I am the witch here.
I don't think that anyone can have a stronger fighting prowess than myself.
Well, perhaps I could make you something more to your liking.
I've always wanted a mohawk.
And I could shave you if that is what you desire.
I would not recommend having no fur.
Why not?
You
Get
can
cold.
you probably wouldn't freeze here at all, but I'm very concerned about it.
Well, I think being shaved is wrong. Maybe you could tell me
You would not
what
be
the deal
allowed
is
in
with the
Valhalla.
sword back here. Valhalla is like a no nudist thing. Is that what you're saying?
Gotta have.
You gotta have the fur.
I was accepted to Valhalla without. Never mind.
What are you doing back here?
Not
Seems
accepted.
like they
No, I
didn't
was
want
blessed by
you.
Valhalla. I was blessed by Valhalla.
Well, that makes
Blessed
more
by
sense.
Valhalla, but no, don't worry.
All
Okay.
right, witch.
I could offer you a caged mantis or a vial of man's blood instead, if you bring me the blood of Cancel the Grand. I thirst for his blood, though.
And I thirst for combat. Point me in his direction either way. I don't care of the reward anymore. The reward shall be glorious battle.
She points you at a particular path amongst the many that split out among the woods, and tells you that this path will take you directly to Kanzor the Grand.
Let us fight Kanzor. Mr. 23rd, Melon, let us go.
You follow the path that she indicates,
Of course. Glorious battle awaits.
and very shortly you see the jungle foliage clear very slightly, and you can see this great stone sword rising above you. And as you enter the small clearing where the sword originates, you are ambushed by a flock of hummingbirds.
No!
They're
I should have listened when she warned me about them.
brightly colored, buzzing at such a high pitch that it makes your teeth ache. They swoop and dive at you, attempting to drive you away from the sword. If you listen carefully to their very high-pitched and annoying voices, they are crying worshipful calls and hymns to their lord, Kanzar the Great.
The hummingbirds!
They are indeed the hummingbirds.
All right, Melon, Big Boy the 23rd, I need to conserve my energy for my fight with Kanzor.
Alan's just
Go!
gonna fucking smack the nearest bird just as hard as possible.
All right.
I enter a state of perfect meditation.
So the hummingbirds are tricky foes, which means you must use cunning against them unless you wish to give death the advantage. So, Melon, what weapon are you using against the hummingbirds?
Fang and claw.
Fang and claw, which is
Cunning and viciousness and ferocity.
viciousness and ferocity. Well, roll your dice. We have an
Guess
8.
who's getting burnt to death again?
So what, you rolled a 6 as your highest, or just you rolled a 6?
I rolled a 6 as my highest.
Once more, you vanquish your foe with fire as your foe vanquishes you with greater strength of arms. You are slain by a hummingbird as it pierces your ear and sticks its bright, sharp little beak straight into your brain as you breathe fire, turning its feathers to ashes. Once more, trumpets, harps, fur, valkyries. You die another time.
Mr.
Do keep
Business
track
removes
of
his
how many
hat.
times you've died.
It was too soon for this world, but he did die in glory. Oh, wait, here he comes. Puts that back on.
Oh my gosh. I look at Mr. Business and I say, that one was less impressive.
Yes, quite. But it is in battle, and Valhalla did try to welcome him, hence the trumpets and everything else.
Yes, indeed.
That is true. I go and I probably am going to encounter the same fate, to be entirely fair. Um, I am going in with my dual weapons.
So proud of you.
And rolling. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven.
An 8.
Ooh. The dual
And
weapons
cool.
are viciousness and
Brutality.
ferocity.
Brutality, and I rolled an 8 on my brutality. But I rolled
You
a
have your advantage.
I rolled a 2 on my viciousness, so that's fine.
Ooh. I too have rolled an 8.
What does that mean?
That means that we tie. We both kill each other. You also have a hummingbird pierce through, in this case, through your eye, into your brain with its sharp little buzzing beak as you claw it to death with your incredibly powerful weapons. Weapon? Axe. It was an axe, wasn't it?
Weapons, no, 2. I've got 2 dual weapons, so I've also got a short sword. I don't know where I'm keeping all of these.
Yeah, don't think about it.
But I've got a short sword and what was it? A dagger.
All right. You skewer the hummingbird as the hummingbird skewers you. And once more, there are trumpets. There's also a raven which appears to be laughing at you. Maybe not at you personally, maybe just at all of you. Or at the scenario where 4 hummingbirds have so far killed 2 cats. And 2 of them haven't attacked yet. But you are taken, like Melon, to the gates of Valhalla, where you are met by Leo, your deity, who offers you a blessing.
No, big boy, the 23rd, you are too young.
Are we there at the same time, or like Big Boy comes in as I go out, just wave at each other on the way?
High five
Yeah,
on the way
I
through.
think you wave as the Valkyries bring Big Boy in and they take you out. Mr. Business, were you attacking these hummingbirds or were you saving yourself?
I think he looks at the 2 bodies that have floated away. I meant to conserve my energy, but a true warrior stands in the face of all. And he'll pick up his sword with his mouth and like, work on! And then do a cool whirlwind attack where he
Ooh.
leaps up and does dual weapons with brutality. Take your advantage.
Mm. And what do you roll?
That is a question. My highest is an 8.
Ooh, you managed to skewer the hummingbird. The hummingbird does not manage to skewer you because you duck faster. And apparently having a sword attached to your tail is actually effective against hummingbirds. They don't see it coming.
You cannot beat the cunning of my randomness. I have no control over this sword.
You really don't.
Yeah, he lands on all fours, looks at the remaining hummingbird. Your move.
It attacks with viciousness.
Oh no, that's the worst thing.
Actually,
Shall
it
I fight
attacks
back
with
again?
hummingbird. Yeah, I think you should.
Ooh, I got an 8 on my
As
viciousness.
did I.
Oh no.
The hummingbird skewers you through the air.
Oh god, it hurts so much more than I thought it would.
Mr. Business and no, I'm sorry, Big Boy and Melon have just been returned by the Valkyries, and the same Valkyries doing double duty take Mr. Business off to Valhalla and very shortly return once again.
Oh, hey Leo, been a while.
Leo didn't even leave the gates.
Huh. Well, how you been? All right, so take a blessing and then eventually come back in a minute.
Yep.
You return to no damage.
Big Melon
You have
grooming,
managed to slay all 4 of the hummingbirds or hummingbirds, even though it took a death from each of you to do it. And without their buzzing distraction, you see that the blade, this colossal sword, rests at the base of the skull of a skeletal crocodile, Cancel the Grand. The crocodile does not appear to be moving, but it is a very large crocodile, equivalent to the very large sword.
Oh, God. So the trumpets play and I return.
You return.
Melon, Big Boy the 23rd. Can we not mention what happened with the birds to anyone? Agreed?
What birds?
That's right. Good.
That was genuine from Melon, though.
You're a good boy, Melon. And he slaps your cheek.
What birds? There's birds? Just down in the grass,
There are
tail flat sources.
currently no birds, but there are a lot of feathers on the ground.
There's feathers, there must be birds.
All right. That looks like our quarry.
Do you wish to approach?
Oh, look, I got this. I said to the witch I would kill it, and I will kill it. He steps forward, walking into the glaive. Are you the creature who controls those monstrosities that him?
As you approach the skeletal crocodile, the sword falls as the crocodile rises, and the crocodile grabs the broken blade in its teeth to fight you. Now, not only is this giant skeleton crocodile holding a sword in its mouth to fight you, it is also a poet. And so through gritted teeth, past the blade, it spends the entire battle commenting on the beauty of the chaos that surrounds you and demanding that death wait another day.
I'm not much one for poetry, but I am good at slam poetry. Ah! And he leaps forward towards the skeletal crocodile.
In a surprising moment of clarity, Melon will ask Big Boy, "Am I supposed to get blood from this thing?"
But as you see the crocodile move, the sword where it fell reveals a cave. And you can see that in the cave there appears to be a pool of blood, but you can't actually get to the cave without going through the crocodile, who is menacing you with both its right claw, its left claw, and its toothy sword-wielding jaw. So, who wishes to take on the right claw?
I'll take the right claw if that's the one coming at me.
And who wishes to take on the left claw?
I'll take on the left claw.
So the right claw is giant. The left claw, well, the right claw and left claw are both giant and armored.
Oh,
and the
good.
skull is giant and magic.
Excellent.
So,
on the plus side, I'm effective against both giant and armored foes, thanks to dual weapons.
As am I.
So, let's go through Mr. Business's role first. You are fighting with brutality and viciousness against the giant armored right claw. Yes?
Yes, sorry. I heard Mr. Business and I'm like, Connor, what are you doing? Hurry up. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
All right.
Oh, 2 cocked dice. Can you believe that? Oh, and I rolled a 6. That's still a 6. My highest dice is an 8.
I got an 11. The right claw slams you to the ground.
Being hit is my only weakness.
Once more, you're taken to the gates of VALHALLA.
Oh, hey, Leo. I need something to help fight an undead crocodile. What you got in that?
Big Boy the 23rd. The left claw attempts to do the same to you. Now, are you also dual wielding?
I am also dual wielding.
So brutality and viciousness.
Yeah. 8 is the top Again, I keep rolling an 8 with that dice. I'm gonna maybe change it.
An 8 normally would be a very good roll, but a 12 beats it, and you
Oh my
two are
God.
slammed to the ground and taken by the Valkyries to the gates of Valhalla. Melon, the orange cat, the skull is left to you. This is a giant magic foe. Can you fight it with ferocity and brutality?
Melon can, in fact, fight it with ferocity.
And brutality?
No, not and brutality.
All right.
Unless I can make 2 separate attacks, one with his claws and the other with the silver bowl.
I'm afraid not.
Just the claws.
But remember, you do have a dragon blood crystal that you can use if you feel that that would help. Although that
It
is for
only
brutality.
increases, my brutality, which I'm not using.
All right. I mean, you might be in luck. My highest roll out of 2d12 and a d6 is 3 on this one.
Oh man, that's so good because I got a 4.
You crushed the skull.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I crush the skull, try and claw out its eyes, but there are no eyes.
There are no eyes. Do you wish to attempt to crush one or other of the claws? Because they are still kind of blindly flailing.
I think that would be good if can I now use the giant sword? I rip the giant sword out of the mouth and try and chop off one of the arms.
You can. It's still using the giant sword would be a single weapon.
Great weapon?
It probably would be a great weapon. Do you have the ability to use great weapons?
No.
Just die.
Well,
You can get it.
But it would be cool.
You can use it. If you use a weapon that you've not yet mastered, it's likely to break after a single use.
Yep, that's fine with me.
Okay. So a great weapon is good against giant and magic foes, uses brutality and ferocity. So that gives me only 1 extra d6.
If I use both brutality and ferocity.
What do you mean?
Sorry, never mind. Sorry.
All right.
I misunderstood what you said.
Because this is an attack with brutality, you can use your dragon blood crystal if you wish to. Or you can save it for later.
No. I think I'm good. I'm going to go with my 11.
All right, then. And I too have an 11. You slay the right claw, but in doing so, you are yourself slain once again. And as you did last time, you pass your companions on your way to and from Valhalla. This is getting to be a habit, people.
Running out of lives.
Well, Melon's up to 5 deaths now, and the other 2 of you are up to 4 deaths.
Yep.
So,
Speed run to Valhalla.
Mr. Business, big boy, you have been returned from Valhalla to find the still corpse of Melon the orange cat and the crushed skull and right claw of the skeletal crocodile. There's still 1 claw left, which appears to be moving on its own and is trying to get to you now that you are moving again.
Right. Stay back, big boy. I got this.
Same time? Can we attack at the same time?
Ooh, dual-wield cats.
You can, absolutely.
Can we dual-wield?
Nice. We do a high five of friendship. Take on this crocodile.
Just the 1 claw of this crocodile.
Yeah.
All right. If either of you kills it, it's dead. But if it gets higher than either of you kills you. We have a high roll on the side of 4. So you're looking pretty good.
Nope.
I-
My high roll was a 4.
My high roll was a 5.
Ooh.
Well, between the two of you, you smash the remaining claw. But in doing so, Mr. Business is taken back to Valhalla again.
Avenge me. Oh, hey, Leo.
I think I just did.
All
Okay,
right.
so
I asked Leo to bless me with the ability to use that awesome sword.
Quick question. What happens to our corpses?
your corpses vanish into dust and ash when you're brought back.
All right.
You don't leave a collection of increasing numbers of yourself as corpses, no.
I need to make sure you groom yourself when you come back, because you're liable to get dusty with your own self.
Yes.
Do we come back clean?
You come back cleanish.
As in, like, we came in salty. Are we still salty after dying?
No, you're not salty anymore, but you are ruffled from being carried through the metaphysical winds to and from Valhalla a few times.
Yeah, okay.
So, Mr. Business and Melon are brought back by the Valkyries. In the meantime, Big Boy, having not died this time, was there anything that you wanted to do? The falling of the giant sword revealed an underground cave with a simmering pool of Kanzor's ancient blood in its center. 2 eyes of newt bob along the surface, seeming to follow your movements, and there are exposed roots sticky with the sap of the world tree.
The world tree.
Yeah, if you want to collect items, the sap of the world tree is where is it? Armored foes, sap of the world tree. Thick and black, the sap can burn without any other fuel until fully submerged. And Eye of Newt is a preferred ingredient of dark magicians, prized by witches for its ritual uses. Reveal it to a foe, and they are forced to re-roll 1 die of your choosing before the eye cloud's over.
I would love to take. Can I take both eyes of newt, or can I only take one?
You can take both if you want.
I would love to take both eyes of newt and leave the blood for Mr. Business to collect.
That's fair. Now, Melon, having used the giant blade, has broken it. So that the grand weapon is no longer useful.
I return back from the holes of Leo and be like, oh, come on. He just gave me the ability to use that thing.
You and Melon both arrive back. You are just in time to see Big Boy collecting the eyes of newt from the surface of the pool of blood. But you can, if you wish, collect some sap of the world tree, and there is Kanzor's ancient blood in the pool itself.
I came here for one thing and one thing only, the blood for the rich. And he'll go and scoop up a paw and try and carry it back.
I will, as Mr. Business like scurries back with the blood, Melon will go and scoop up some extra blood with the bowl and then carry it back.
All right.
Very smart for an orange cat.
It's my turn with the brain cell.
Between you, you take the blood back to the witch, whose name, by the way, is Cathar, and she thanks you for it, and she creates crystals out of the blood. Now, she did offer to pay you for this, and she offered to either make you dragon's blood crystals or to give you a vial of blood of man.
Why would I want the blood of a man?
Because drinking it improves your cunning by 1 die size for 1 roll.
I mean, it's pretty good, but it's still tasting the flesh of my mortal enemies.
Which, if you say it like that, doesn't sound so bad, right?
I mean, I guess vampires do it. I'll take the blood. We'll trade blood for blood. It's only fair. Like we're on the field of a battle.
Blood sounds good because it'd be the only way I'd actually ever have a chance of using that blessing.
All right. We'll take
All
a
right.
couple of bloods.
So you can each have a vial of man's blood in return for Kanzor's blood, which you've given to her.
Nice. Inventory. Man's blood. Thanks for mansplaining how to use it.
Not a problem. But I think you'll find that actually,
Good. We
anyway,
continue on to the not the Metropolis. What's the thing we go into?
the ziggurat.
We're going to the sword.
The ziggurat. Yeah. The
You-
sword. We
you
found
just-
the sword.
you were
That
just
was
at the
the
sword.
sword.
Yep.
The sword.
The sword was the one the crocodile was wield. He was standing there waiting for us. And he picked up the sword and you wielded it against us. And then you broke it.
When did that happen?
It just then before your latest
Melon!
death.
God's sake, Melon! We're in a hurry.
As you leave, word passes through the valley of the final death of Kanzor the Grand, and all of the hummingbirds throughout the entire valley break into a mournful dirge in honor of the God King. It's super annoying and very high-pitched, but it's also kind of sad. And Cathar, as you leave, asks Death not to let Kanzor's attempt at immortality besmirch the life of an otherwise great warrior poet.
Could I grab a feather on the way from the hummingbirds that we killed? I presume we're going back the same sort of way.
Yeah, you can absolutely grab a feather. You can even grab a few feathers if you want.
I might grab a few feathers and tuck them into my pouches.
Yep.
You got a kangaroo pouch. Shove it on in.
I mean, you can have kitty saddlebags if you'd like, or you can
No,
I
have
prefer
kangaroo
the
pouch.
mystery.
On our way back to the witch, we make sure you just leave the hummingbird at the precipice for the witch's cottage.
And a gift for you.
Yeah, that sounds in character.
You hadn't looked like you eaten today, so I thought I'd help you out.
All right. You're going to continue on past the glen where the sword stood and the now broken sword lies towards the ziggurat.
We take the broken sword.
You can take the broken sword if you want, yes.
Did-
You won't be able to use it as a weapon, but you might be able to trade it to somebody, maybe. You continue on through the jungle, along the winding paths, until you reach the foot of the Ouroboros ziggurat. It is a stepped pyramid, for those who don't know what a ziggurat is, of glassy black stone which emerges from the mist, imprinted with the image of a dog with its own tail in its mouth.
I piss on it.
Dozens of pavilions and tents lead to empty rooms surrounding the ziggurat. This was not part of the old world. It is a new construction intended to be the seat of power in a new age. There are carvings along the ziggurat itself and also on the wooden poles of all of the tents and pavilions, depicting an imagined past or future. You can hear echoes of devoted chanting echoing out from the long dark hallways of the ziggurat itself, and you can feel the warmth pulled from your pores as you step through into the cold, lifeless corridors. The air tastes almost metallic. It's definitely not a good place. This is, in fact, a cursed place, and it makes the fur along your spines stand on end. At the entrance,
Death was right to send us here.
"Quah, quah," says Death's raven, which is currently riding on your head.
Get off, you vile creature!
It flaps around a bit and lands back on your head.
Have you
A
no respect
monster.
for death?
Death,
"Quah."
I have only 9 lives. If he truly cared, he would have let me live in Valhalla many years ago.
At the
Do you want bird?
entrance to the ziggurat stands the banner of the Archdiocese of the Wolf. You are familiar with this banner for reasons that we will not go into right now.
I am familiar with the banner.
To do with the incident with the cream.
I'm not familiar with that one.
No, we don't speak of the incident with the cream. A band of half-dead legionnaires of the Fangs, fox and dog alike, are licking their wounds. They are led by Chaplain Reynard, who kept his medals but lost an eye today. Their assault failed against the heretics who have lost sight of the Ciborium Canadae, which is the rules for this particular archdiocese. They appear pleased to see you, which is surprising to you. Generally, dogs and foxes are not pleased to see you because you are glorious warriors and they are merely canines. But Chaplain Reynard limps up towards you and says, "We are so pleased to see heroes here to save us from these apostate cultists, heretics who have lost sight of the way."
Alan looks up mid-clean.
Will you swear to put a stop to this heresy, to succeed where we have failed?
We will swear nothing to dogs.
You make me sick. Go stick your head out the window.
We have the last arrow of truth, if you will swear, and it is not to us that you swear, but to death.
Do not trust a dog, but I will trust death. Hey, bird! What say you about this monstrosity standing before me? Does he speak the truth?
I mean, he's a dog, but also you like to kill things.
I mean, that I do. I shall kill whatever cultist stands in your way, and then I shall have a conversation with my sword in your neck.
What breed-ish of dogs? Are they mutts? Are they?
They are all mixed breed. Most of them are sort of average size, like the size of maybe a border collie kind of a dog. Some of them look a bit more like a kelpie or a dingo. Some of them look a bit furrier, like they've got some rough collie in their ancestry somewhere. But you haven't really paid attention to the hierarchies and organizations of the dog world. So
Chaplain Reynard a Chihuahua.
Except for Scotty dogs.
Except for Scotty dogs. And there are no pure Scotty dog nobility in this group. These are mercenaries for the most part, except for the fox clergy, including Chaplain Reynard.
All right, we shall take on your cultists, but only because death himself asks us to.
So Chaplain Reynard does in fact give you an arrow of truth. You decide which of you takes it. When planted into an enemy, they must answer one question perfectly honestly with their dying breath. The arrow breaks when removed from a foe. So you now have that in your inventory, one of you.
I'd try to stab it into this guy in front of us.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah. Only way I can trust him.
Okay. Okay.
Have you seen any cucumbers?
What? No! Are you really the leader of the Cookie Mart?
You stabbed Chaplain Reynard. Roll your dice.
Alrighty. Ooh, 8s. A lot of 8s.
I immediately ask about their cucumbers.
You stab him with the arrow of truth.
Mm-hmm.
As he expires with his dying breath, he says, "I have seen no cucumbers." And then
God! I was finding out if I could trust him!
It's nearly dinner time, I'm sorry.
Good. Well, my sincere apologies. May Valhalla not welcome you because I don't want to see you there, but whatever happens, may you rest. Not in peace, but rest. Good. All right, well, I think it's only fair that we take on the cultist for him. We know that he won't try to stab us in the back. All right, let us head that way. And we
How did the
I
others
thought it
react?
was the lizard that stabbed the people in the back.
No, that was Backstab himself. His name was Backstab. But he never actually stabbed me. I never turned my back on him to give him a chance.
Behind you now.
The other dogs and foxes back away from you, crouched, cowering with their tails between their legs. They have already fought and lost today. They do not have the courage to face a warband such as yourselves.
I am too powerful for
You
you.
are fucking
rats.
mad.
I mean, you are Viking murder cats. You're pretty mad.
You! And he points at one of the foxes. Where are these cultists you keep dying against?
The fox, trembling, points into the ziggurat, which is standing right there with its gaping archway of an entrance, shadows deep inside, and cold metallic air emerging from it.
I tip my bee hat to him. Let us go. And I put this sword back in my mouth and start walking up the stairs really elegantly with this clank, 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 clank coming up behind.
And every clank makes you move a little bit faster as it startles you.
As we go up, Melon wants to take a great weapon off a dog or a fox or something as
Smart.
we pass.
They do not have any great weapons that you can take, Melon.
You can just wield the body of that guy. Rigor mortis is set in and use him as a club.
The ziggurat itself is a monument to Hubri. It's built to stand as the center of a new age, from which a man of canine construction will reign eternal. Much of your journey through the dark stone corridors of the ziggurat, because you go into it, not just up the outside. It's a lonely journey, twisting passages, and you can hear the sound of ancient human songs being howled by dogs, getting louder.
Let the dogs out.
Yes, like that. Getting louder as you approach. Now, as you get to the heart of the ziggurat, you find the new man, which is
It's just like a dog wearing like a human suit, like a reverse furry.
It's at the epicenter of the ziggurat. There's a throne room, and the new man is a machine flesh hybrid, scavenged from abandoned ancient technology, carved from unearthed marrow and bone from the necropolis. Wires, pipes, and chains lead behind the altar, and there are 6 singing dog devotees sitting there, howling and aiding in the construction of the new man. The new man speaks an alien tongue in harsh metallic sounds, which are interpreted by his devotees. His left hand is blue, his right hand is red, and he has a metal skull. His left hand, right hand, skull, and torso are each able to move separately.
This is the worst monstrosity that I've ever seen. No wonder death sent us here.
There also is an altar set up in front of the new man, and at the base of the altar you can just see there appears to be some kind of hole in the ground with stairs leading downwards.
All right. I've heard of battles like this. The only thing we can do is tangle up him in these feet and trip him down the stairs. It happened all the time in tales of old.
Sadly, the new man is sitting on a throne, not currently standing.
All right. I walk over to the nearest door and start meowing at it. He cannot resist but stand up and walk over to it. I think he'll actually stand up, point at this hybrid man, and say, You are a monstrosity and deserve death. I shall fight you. He puts the sword back into his mouth.
Well, you have here the 6 leash devotees who will cease their howling to fight you, and also the skull, right hand, left hand, and giant torso of the new man. So that's quite a bit of fighting to do.
Mm-hmm.
Who wishes to fight what?
I want to go for the mouth of the dude.
All right. Big boy, you want to fight well, it's the skull more than the mouth, but
I'm going to
absolutely.
go for the mouth.
The meowth.
The mouth.
You can fight his mouth.
I want to ride in next to you
Okay,
and do an
that's
under attack, and I'll stab into the torso, so we can do a double team action like we did against the crocodile, and only one of us died, so it works.
All right. So against the skull, which is armored, what are you going to use?
Armored.
Yep.
I am going to use my dual weapons, I suppose. Which is the
Is
same
effective
again.
against-
It's the same dice I've been rolling. 6. 2 6s.
Okay. And dual weapons is brutality and viciousness?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So against the armored skull, doing well. And we have a 10.
Bugger.
You're
geez.
chomped.
Can I make it re-roll?
You can.
You have that ability?
Yeah, I've got the Eye of Newt.
Oh, nice.
You hold up.
Clutch.
You hold up the Eye of Newt, and as it films over, the skull sort of grinds its teeth a bit and re-rolls, rolling a 12. You are ground between its teeth. It will grind your bones to make its bread. The Valkyries come down and bear you off to Valhalla. This is your 5th death. Mr.
All right.
Business, the
I'm going
torso.
to use that distraction of him being killed.
I can also give because I've got Blessing of the Eyes that burn as stars, I can give a D6 to an ally for their next roll. So
I will take that.
All right.
Same attack. Basically, brutality and thing.
All right. Brutality is good against giant, and the torso is giant. So
Excellent.
make your roll.
I rolled a 5.
I have a 10 and an 8 here.
Use neither.
Valkyries, bear you off to Valhalla.
Ah!
Melon, what do you wish to do?
While they jump at the human thing, Malin will clearly and heroically take on all of the dogs.
All of the dogs. All right,
All
then.
of the dogs.
Roll a 6 for that breath of fire.
And what are you going to use to attack these leash devotees?
What are the dogs?
What do you mean? What are their dogs?
Like the head is armored, and the guys outside with magic.
The dogs are no, they don't have a special case.
I'm just gonna fucking tear them apart with my claws.
That's fair.
Like any honorable cat would.
As you should. All right. So you're going for all 6.
no, there's 6 deaths potentially.
Absolutely. I am going to burn one of them to death right now.
So the first one rolls a 4.
I got
What
a
do you get?
6.
All right, you kill it.
And then I burn the next one to death.
The next one, you still have to roll. Even if you're going to try to burn it to death?
No, because I got the 6 from this roll. The fire stops when I burn something to death.
Can you burn any creature? Even
That's
if you're
it.
not.
That's exactly the it's cooked. It's so any time a die shows a 6, I bait a creature or an object of your choosing until it is destroyed.
Wow.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
You didn't want to say the human?
Anytime a die rolls a 6 when you roll your ferocity.
Ferocity, yeah.
But you were using tooth and
yeah.
claw. So, all right. So that's two down of 6.
Yep.
The third one.
I got an 8 and another 6.
All right. So you kill it, and I take it you breathe fire on a separate one.
I'm just imagining we come back from being dead. We just see the dogs massacred.
Melon grooming his fur.
Okay,
What?
so dog number 5. What's your roll?
A 7.
You kill it. I got a 4.
My
And
God.
dog number 6.
I got a 7 and another 6.
You massacre all 6 leash devotees
My
in a
God.
whirlwind of claws and teeth that has never been seen.
It still hasn't.
And
Misses.
and melt the skull of the man.
What? Do you have a 6?
Yes.
Really? On the final attack?
Yes.
That is OP.
All right. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Just,
The other
like,
two
I
of
don't
you.
want to, but I'll allow
I
it.
don't want to. I feel like that's a little bit OP to do that to the skull, but
It's nuts, but we need a house rule that next time we play.
yeah, maybe. Mr. Business, big boy, you're returned from Valhalla.
Oh, we must have been gone longer than expected this time, Mr. Big Boy.
Yeah, we look around and it's like, as we descend, I want to. Wait, do we descend? How do we come back?
The Valkyries bring you back and lower you to the ground from.
Can I?
And it's metaphysical.
Can I pounce on a hand as we go down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I'm gonna do that. What am I going up against?
So the hands. Did you want the blue left hand or the red right hand?
Let's go blue left hand.
The blue left hand is magic,
Cool.
so requires ferocity. Do you
Okay.
have an attack with ferocity?
I do. I'm just jumping between all of my bloody things. I am going to use my dark magics, pull a feather
Ooh.
out from under my fur again, and blow it, and it disappears into the ether. And darkness strikes down. Am I striking from darkness? Are we in dark?
I think you are striking from darkness. Yes, the Valkyries have brought you back from the shadows of the ceiling of the room in the ziggurat that you're in.
Okay,
So
cool. And I get to roll an additional d6. So
my high roll is 4, so you've
okay, cool.
got a good chance here.
Yeah. Shit. Well, that's 2 4s, and I get one more dice roll, and that's 4. I've got 3 4s.
Oh no! You pounce from the darkness onto the red right hand and roll with it, grappling and clawing as it slowly crushes the life out of you, sending you right back to the gates of Valhalla. But you do kill it.
All right.
Mr. Business.
As he's lowered back down by the angels, he looks at this creature, picks up his sword again that's still lying there when he was dead before. Like, the power of the god Leo has made me hate you even more. And then he'll lunge directly back at the torso with an extra D6 now, thanks to my hatred of humans and dogs.
Okay. Make your roll.
An 8 is my highest.
11.
God damn it. He just charges and gets immediately stabbed. Good, good.
Yeah.
That's another life, you see.
It is. Melon.
Once again, it all comes up to Melon.
It does. It does.
Melon will clearly the biggest threat is the other hand. Hands are known for petting aggressively.
It's true.
Um,
And
and
the remaining hand is the red right hand, which is, I mean, it clashes with your fur.
don't like that. Don't like
Yeah.
that at all.
No.
Um,
So the red right hand is tricky, which means you need cunning against it.
Oh dear.
Do you have cunning?
do not have cunning. Oh, wait. Did I have to acquire a weapon, or was I given a weapon when I came back from Valhalla?
Your weapons come back with you from Valhalla. So the weapons that you had, you still have. You do not lose them.
Well then, yes, I do. Great weapon is brutality and cunning.
Do you have a great weapon?
Yes, I took that blessing when I died after I used a great weapon, but then I don't know, that's brutality and ferocity. Never mind. I don't have any cunning.
All right. You do have the option of attacking the torso instead of the hand.
No, I don't like the hand.
All right. Attack the hand then. And I
I'm
just
gonna
get an
bite the
extra
shit
die.
out of the hands.
All right. You bite that hand. It hasn't even fed you, and you're going to bite it anyway.
That's the point, right?
I mean, I got a 4 as my high roll in this one, so
I got a 3.
Even with advantage?
you got a 3. Yeah, I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 4.
Can we use IO Newt for non-attacks that aren't ours?
You can get any foe to re-roll. So it doesn't have to be your foe. You can get me to re-roll that dice. You have been brought back from Valhalla at this point.
Actually, I possibly won't because I feel like not many things are going to be able to go under a 3.
All right. So Melon, you die again.
Swatted out of existence.
Swatted out of existence.
Can you take the same weapon twice? The same blessing twice?
You cannot take the same blessing twice. The
Blessings.
You may only choose each blessing once.
Okay. All right. Well, unless Big Boy wants to go, as you return back,
You are welcome to.
I will return back again and be like, I've gained more power against you, evil creature. And I've taken the ability to do extra damage against giants. So, being that his chest is giant, is it not?
Yep, it is.
Perfect. I'll attack the chest for a third time.
All right. And you're attacking with brutality?
Yes.
All right. Let's see how you do against the torso.
6.
Attempt number 3.
Oh, wait, no, a 12. I got a 12, baby.
Ooh, very nice. I got a 6.
Yeah. I finally punched through. That's what you get.
The torso splits apart into 2 halves of weird flesh and wire, falling to the ground, oozing ichor in weird colors. It smells kind of rotten. This is dog food, not real food that it smells of.
Oh God, it's sorry.
Only the red right hand remains.
I will go.
Big Boy, the 23rd. It's all you.
I have sat back and watched my two allies, my two comrades and shaken my head. I grab the axe from my back and I attempt to cleave the great weapon axe from my back, and I attempt to cleave the red hand into two.
All right.
You had a great weapon this whole time?
Yeah, the axe.
Jealous.
I've already used it once. Well, yeah.
So we've got a 10 here.
Okay.
Ute it.
Yeah, fuck. I'm gonna newt it. Oh no,
What'd you roll though?
No, I'm not gonna even bother newting it. My highest was a 3.
Oh God.
no.
Okay, I don't know how I fucked that up so badly.
Big boy, no! Don't leave me here with only Melon. He must have been useless. I haven't seen him do anything.
Screaming from the ceiling, and will bonk the hand with the silver bowl as a single weapon.
All right. Do it.
Okay, that's. I'm going to use my cunning.
Cunning.
So, and in jumping down, he'll bite the who's the dragon blood? Like
the blood of man.
Dragon blood crystal, and that I got from the.
Do you want to increase your cunning?
Couldn't I use the dragon blood one to get an extra 6?
Only if you're using brutality.
Single weapon is brutality and cunning. So I wanna
Okay.
crush the crystal, coming down on the back of the Valkyries, like shotgun the human blood, crush the crystal, and then come screaming down off the Valkyries to like bonk the hand with the bow.
Yep. Do it. You're rolling against a 10.
Okay, so that's a and
Am I
another 6. Okay, well, I got a 10, a 6, and a 4.
Am I back yet?
You are back.
Can I use IO mute?
You can if you want to. Now, Melon did roll a 10.
The 10v10, isn't it?
10v10 would kill the hand and send Melon to Valhalla one more time.
Yeah, I don't know how many Melon's died less than me, never mind.
This brings all of you up to 7 deaths.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Melon.
8. This would be 8 for me.
Would it? I've only counted 7.
Okay. Well, 7 it is. Yeah.
All right then. You can count how many blessings you have. That'll tell you.
I've written down how I died each time with killed by crocodile again, killed by human, killed by human again.
I should have been doing that. I should have put the glorious notes. Yeah, I'm a 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was counting the ones I had. The extra one that you start with.
Yep. So you should all have 8 blessings at this point.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, where have my blessings gone? I don't think I've got 8.
I've got 8. They're useless at this point.
4, 5, 6.
The Valkyries return you all to the empty, it's not a cave, it's a room really, at the center of the black stone ziggurat. And the chill has dissipated somewhat. And there are the sort of butchered corpses of the dogs and of the new man. But as you stand there, silent, with the cold seeping into your pores, you hear boom, 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 boom. This thudding echo like a heartbeat that vibrates the floor beneath your feet. There is something still here.
Yes.
With Melon's last attack, I got a 6 for cunning. I can ask a witch one question or a witch familiar one question.
Hey,
Yes. Does that mean
You get
can
to
ask
ask Death one
Death?
question.
Yeah, death
Yeah.
one question,
Okay.
which would be answered in
Ask your
strange
question.
and disturbing visions.
Yeah, indeed. Prepare yourself. What's your question?
Are there any cucumbers here?
oh my fucking.
You see a vision of darkness. And within the darkness, an eerie green light glows, brighter and dimmer, and brighter and dimmer. And you see somewhere beneath you, somewhere in the catacombs under the ziggurat, there is a cucumber. It's kind of small and short, but it is deeply green and it is glowing radioactive green, sort of pulsing. It it looks sort of misshapen, but all cucumbers look misshapen to you. But
Terrifying.
the vision terrifies you. It fills your brain with the smell of cucumber. And as you emerge from this very disturbing sight, you feel like there is something behind you, and your fur fluffs and you leap. And it's only Mr. Business with a sword on his tail, but the sword for a moment looks like a cucumber.
Absolutely. Like Melon is jumps and spins around and all paws down, fluffed up, 3 times the size, and a mixture between like a hiss and a yowl at the cucumber.
What?
Melon doesn't actually seem any more insane than usual, honestly.
You're looking at me a lot. I mean,
Have you seen a
by me
cucumber?
being the first.
There's a
What?
cucumber here.
Where?
Behind you.
Your tail starts swishing back and forth. Clang,
Oh God,
clang,
no!
clang, clang.
Anyone else hear that beating sound? I mean, apart from the clanging, it sounds like this beating. Anyone? Just me?
I think it's. Sorry, I'm going into my other character. Yes, I think it's from below.
We look down the
We
stairs.
don't.
All right, come on. Our work's not finished. And he puts the sword back in his mouth.
Why? How do you know?
You can hear the beating of the bloody heart of man. He'll scurry towards those stairs, I assume.
Indeed. And as you go down the stairs into the darkness, you see, as soon as I find the description of what is in the cellar.
Melon's got a lot of energy after coming back and being scared. So Melon's full ball down the stairs and,
Running like it's just not.
just fucking zooming, like runs and jumps off the wall down the stairs. No time to look.
The the stairs lead underneath the altar into what looks like a series of cellars. And in the cellar, directly beneath the altar, there is a second altar, a pedestal carved from some dark stone. And on it, there is a softly glowing, kind of misshapen and vaguely rounded cucumber, which is pulsing with a heartbeat. From the stairs and from the cellar, you can hear that pulse even more strongly. And it feels like it's draining your strength from you, your will to viciousness, and your desire even to find Valhalla and finally rest there amongst your warrior companions. The
Does it look the same
cucumber
to all of us?
makes you weak.
It's
Melon
worse
is,
than I
is
even feared.
full ball, sort of just running and um to the corner of the room and tries to get sort of like as flat as possible
I avert my
and
eyes
hide
from how
behind a pillar.
horrible it is.
I find this so funny because cucumbers and melons can crossbreed.
And perhaps that's what the cucumber's been wanting with Melon all this time.
Hey, you free
Is that why
Friday?
it's always behind?
That is why it's always behind you, Melon.
And so
And that's why
firm.
it freaks you out quite that much.
All right. Melon will not step up and be a true cat. I shall take on the burden. And he charges at it with both his swords.
All right. Make your roll against the heart of man, which is the
Is
cucumber.
it magic?
It is magic.
Can I use brutality?
You can.
I will. Yeah, it's that a 9. I can't beat that.
Oh, the heart got an 8.
Ah, lost my dice. It's gone. What? I've got a 9 on the largest one. I stab into it with both my swords. I slice it first, and the other one swings around over my head, and I barely miss it as it skims past my ear and slaps down in front of it.
You skewer the heart of man, slicing it into 3 separate pieces. The glow fades slowly, and you all feel your strength return, your will, your independence, your sheer feline viciousness returns to you. Even you, Melon, cowering in the corner, fluffed to like 4 times your normal size. You feel better. The cucumber has been defeated.
That was a tough battle, but we did it.
I want to see my back.
Above
No,
you,
it definitely would have had a chance.
you hear rumbles as, with the skewering of the heart, the remaining corpse of the new man thrashes and seems to be taking out some load-bearing columns in the ziggurat. The whole construction is going to collapse. You must fight not to be taken down with the ziggurat.
No! Run! Melon! He reaches out to Melon, who's much
Melon's
closer to the
grooming.
door. Run, Melon! Run! And Big Boy the 23rd, do your thing. But Melon!
Big Boy the 23rd hadn't even stepped foot into the cucumber, and so just runs as soon as there's creaking.
You run as fast as your little paws can take you. You dash through the dark, twisting corridors of the ziggurat, running for the light, and you emerge just as the ziggurat itself collapses into a pile of rubble and glass splinters. Around you, the dogs and foxes, the legionnaires of the Fang who survived their wounds, are begrudgingly grateful. They all cower to the ground and show the respect that you are due as you pass. The
Right,
entire island
you are.
is grateful to have the machinations of the leash cult brought to a halt. They resume burying their dead in the necropolis without the fear of having those dead dug up and turned into weird flesh golems, which you didn't actually run into in the ziggurat other than the new man himself. You have succeeded in your quest, and death looks favorably upon you.
Goodness
Melon.
knows how the other leash got defeated. It was quite convenient.
Yes, it is amazing that they must have all died while our bodies might have exploded, killing them.
That sounds quite likely.
I think it's only the option. Nothing that maybe your magics of your bloodline, Big Boy. Something in there might have killed the dogs on leashes. It's the only explanation.
I preen at the idea.
Melon has slumped on the ground and is looking up at the sky. Like one paw out, sort of like.
Mr. Business kind of rolls his eyes and looks over at Big Boy the 23rd. Oh, Melon.
The last melon. Big Boy sits next to Malin and uncharacteristically bops him on the belly.
Immediately bite the hand. Just
I mean, you can roll dice against each other. Do it.
not an attack roll, not an attack bite.
Spoil.
Well, even if Melon was completely useless in every way, it has been an honor to fight beside you, Big Boy the 23rd. You bring your name honor.
That is something I've sought for some time. I have appreciated your uncouth nature, Mr. Business. Pleasure doing business with you.
It is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. All right. He turns to Death and it's like, where to next? Where shall I find my next quarry?
And that is where I will leave that scenario. Because your next quest would be to see if you can repair the murderess and sail onwards to the next island where Death requires your assistance. But
wow.
I thought that was great. That was hilarious.
Fun. There was so much death.
I know. Well, Viking murder cats.
Yeah, that's
The name,
right?
9 lives. Really expected we'll get out of it without dying once.
I didn't think I'd go through lives so quickly. I'll admit that.
I didn't think you would either, but looking at the rules, I think it's meant to work like that.
Yeah, very much so. Absolute insanity. Well, thank you very much for that, Danielle, and our lovely old plays B, Connor. It's been a ride.
Hope you all had fun. I did.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
I enjoyed burning things.
And thank you, viewers. I will
Yes.
see you at the next adventure.
Indeed.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.